Welcome to another HRO Today educational podcast. In this series, we aim to provide you the latest workforce management approaches and best practices in HR. I'm Debbie Bolla, the Editorial Director of HRO Today magazine. Today's historically low unemployment rate is driving a tight labor market, one that has essentially become a candidate's market. There are more jobs than people looking, and this is causing increased pressure on HR. In fact, according to 2019 research from the Conference Board, CEOs rank attracting and retaining top talent as their number one internal concern. So what are TA professionals to do? How can they build their talent pools? Through technology, employer branding, analytics? Today, I have an expert here with me who will answer some of these pressing questions. Dehn is Senior Director of RPO Operations for HRO. HRO is all about talent delivery through integrated talent solutions, specialized recruiting, MSP, and RPO. For more than 75 years, HRO has provided the talent and services needed for the jobs and projects critical to client success. Whether it's finding top talent, managing a complex contingent labor program, or developing the right recruiting approach, HRO has a solution. Chad, thank you for being with me today. The job market seems as competitive as ever, leaving many companies wondering, how do I get more applicants and candidates in my recruitment funnel? Do you have some suggestions on what they can do?
Debbie, you're exactly right. It is an incredibly strong recruiting and hiring market that's being certainly impacted by, the strong economy and job market. It's probably safe to say that the job market and competition for talent's never been more intense than it is right now. I was recently reading an article looking at some recent employment statistics, and in the month of September, unemployment fell to yet another all-time low, 3.5%, a 50-year low for unemployment. Total job openings at that same point in time actually were 1.6 million positions greater than the population of workers classified as unemployed. So this has created an environment for many professions where demand for workers is much greater than the current supply of people with those skills, whether it's STEM professionals, CDL operators, healthcare workers, etc. Incredibly competitive workplace.
Yeah, those are definitely producing lots of challenges for TA leaders and HR leaders alike. So in this job market, what are some things you have found to produce more candidates in your own talent pools?
It's a great question and an answer, many people are searching for. I think it's important to note, first and foremost, before we go into the topic, that there really is no one silver bullet, but there are a number of things that you can do and emerging technologies that can help. Before we talk about some of the technologies we're looking at and currently leveraging, I think it's important to note that before you start down those paths, it's critical that you really define your targeted candidate universe. Difficult to really create a solution unless you have a good understanding of what you're looking for at the end of the day. So who are the people with the skills that are going to best translate to your opening? We encourage our customers and clients to look to widen their net while looking for multiple streams for that talent. So we're consulting with many of our customers to look at their campus recruitment strategies, again, really look at internal pools of talent and how can you develop and train internal talent might be a better source oftentimes than looking to the external market. Many customers right now are looking at retirees different and perhaps creating part-time opportunities for people who are looking to pull back but perhaps not completely retire. And then when it comes to looking for experienced talent, making sure we're not just looking for people that have the exact skills and exact experience on the job description, but we're challenging ourselves to look at related and transferable skills and experiences. You no longer can just rely on finding candidates to hit the ground running, so to speak. We've got to think a little bit outside the box. And while you're doing so, you certainly need to understand this may represent a fairly significant change management exercise for our hiring managers, but we really need to make sure we spend time defining that targeted universe and looking at the different streams of talent. So let's talk a little bit further about some of the tools that can help us expand that talent population. I would say with technology in the marketplace today, it's probably never been easier to identify potential talent. There are a number of tools out there right now that are just transforming the way a recruiter works in numerous ways, and a number of those are leveraging artificial intelligence. One of the tools we use today is an AI-driven tool that helps us determine where best to spend our advertising dollars to make sure our jobs are getting in front of the best and most qualified job seekers. So there's a number of tools out there that the technology can do real time for you what you had to wait months to get anecdotal information back on and make adjustments to your recruitment advertising spend. So that's one thing you can do to increase your candidate population. You can also leverage artificial intelligence to help you in your passive candidate or headhunting type of activities. So no longer does a recruiter need to run Boolean searches across a number of different resume boards and pull that information into a CRM tool before conducting outreach to those candidates. Technology will do that for you. It will actually provide a recruiter a targeted hit list of candidates, can validate contact information, and provide them a vehicle to do outreach to those folks in the matter of seconds versus a matter of days or weeks that used to be the case. We're also looking at the engagement side of the equation and making sure we're leveraging email marketing campaigns, digital platforms, and text to help us better advertise openings and also engage with talent. So it's really transforming the role of recruiter and really allowing them to spend more time engaging with talent and consulting with hiring managers on how to develop strategies to fill jobs. Really, companies need to assess where they are on that continuum right now and look to see where they can make some of those strategic investments in some of these tools and technologies, or quite frankly, they can look for a partner who's already gone down this path and can help them get there more quickly.
Right. So it kind of sounds like some creative strategies are in order to get those talent pools up. Are there any other suggestions you might have for companies struggling with volume?
Yeah, I think oftentimes we get stuck in this mindset of we just need more candidates. And I would tell you more by itself is not necessarily the answer. Many of the customers we engage with often are experiencing significant loss of their candidate traffic into their recruitment process. And quite frankly, Debbie, they may not even be aware of it. So you need to focus on the engagement of talent and make sure you have an efficient and effective process that isn't having a lot of fallout in your candidate process. We work so hard to identify and get people to our career page and to apply for the job. We need to make sure we're converting those candidates into actual applicants and ultimately hires. So we work with our customers to make sure they're producing meaningful employer branding content, things that are meaningful to the targeted candidates they're looking to hire. We're working with them to deploy more of a product marketing focus and process where we're constantly marketing to those pipelines of candidates and building brand with those talent communities over time. Again, leveraging the digital and text and video kind of mediums we touched on earlier. And then we also make sure that our interview and selection process is designed with the candidate in mind. Again, very difficult to get candidates to turn into applicants. So once we do, we want to make sure we're doing everything we can to minimize fallout. So, is your career page fully mobile optimized? Okay, many of our professions that we're looking to fill positions for, 50% plus of the people applying for your jobs are doing so on a mobile device. And if they're doing that to a career page that isn't fully mobile optimized, that's a problem. Does your site allow for one-click apply? We see across many of our programs 3 times or more the conversion rate of clicks to actual applicants where the system allows for a one-click apply process. Is your system designed to be timely and responsive so candidates aren't falling into the black hole of recruiting? You can leverage things like self-scheduling technologies or chatbots to facilitate some of the responsiveness of your process. And then finally, are your hiring managers trained to be selling and engaging candidates throughout the process, and then ultimately empowered to make decisions as it relates to whether or not we can extend an offer? All of those things, in addition to some of the technologies focused on sourcing and driving more traffic to the top of the funnel, will ensure a better outcome at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that's a really excellent point. Today's candidates are really looking to be engaged throughout the entire process, and they're looking for organizations to do that with them. So those are some good points. It is a lot to think about, and it does sound like there's some change that's needed. Is there any other thoughts that TA leaders should keep in mind as they're looking to address their own programs?
Yeah, I just think high level, there's no one thing by itself that's going to fix the challenge as it relates to attracting and hiring the best talent out there. And I just caution people that more is not necessarily the answer by itself. I'd encourage folks to look at their recruitment process and design it more from the outside in, from the candidate's perspective, than from the HRIS system back. Oftentimes we're designing a talent acquisition process for ease of data flow into an HRIS system that may actually create a negative candidate experience and kind of negatively impact some of the things we talked about earlier. This is only going to become more prevalent, the use of technologies and things of that nature throughout the process as millennials become a larger percentage of our workforce. We really need to continue to keep up with the pace of change and the implications of new technologies. But I think although it seems like a whole lot when you look at it in total, I think the good news is there are a number of companies out there that can help you navigate through the seas of change here and help you along this journey.
Well, those are certainly some good pointers, and it's a very interesting time, and I'm excited to see what happens next. Thank you, Chad, for your time today.
Thank you.